Let's give this just a few seconds for some folks to get on that are not here yet, but we won't wait very long. This is going to be part one of our series, brand new series on the Rapture Puzzle 2026. Many of you have been waiting very patiently for my information that I've told you about concerning the possible rapture date for the year 2026. I did the math, I did my checks for this year, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen this year, could happen tonight, right? But I really think that next year fits much better, and I'm going to show you why. I've told everybody that I've got to have a PowerPoint in order for people to grasp this. Um, and I'm going to do that. But I decided to go ahead and do a series where I'm going to give you the pieces of the puzzle that will help you understand what I'm talking about here. Um, and tonight is we're going to share some of that. I've got about 9 of them written down here. There's more than that, but you all understand my my prophecy puzzle book, right? That just come out several months ago. My most important book that I've written is the prophecy puzzle. And if you don't have that, you ought to get it. What I did is I took things out of many of my other books and I put them in here. But I mean, God gave me this. God helped me understand how to illustrate things like a puzzle. Remember, there's 4 corners of the puzzle. Those are the most important parts. You find those 4 corner pieces while you're looking for all the straight edges, right? And so the straight edges are the foundational things, but the 4 corners hold it all together. Without the 4 corners, you'll never put the puzzle together. You'll never figure it out. And the 4 corners are very important, and that's all in the book. I explain the 4 corners, and I actually have some PowerPoints for all that. And I tell people that's why I can put this thing together so simply. That's why when somebody shares some new thing and I hear about it or they share it with me, oftentimes they'll say, "Nope, that's not right. That won't fit." And people get mad at me, and that's okay. Um, it's okay if they want to be wrong, but I'm not gonna appease you and tell you, "Oh yeah, that could be." No, no. I've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and when you've got all these pieces of the puzzle, and I'll be going through some of these in the coming days, and you'll see what I mean. All right, are you with me? So this is part one, kind of an introduction, but more than that, I want you to write down Isaiah 46:10. Isaiah 46:10. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to open my Bible and read it to you because I didn't make it home. We've been going right out straight. It's unbelievable. We've been going to and fro in all the earth, hoping to speed up the rapture. I'm heading out again tomorrow. We just got in last night. We've been gone like 10 days. Just got in late last night. Just got out of church here, running a lot of errands today, running to and fro. And we got to head back out tomorrow. Go to the studio, and because the show must go on, right? Got to get TV shows done. We don't want to play reruns. We want to keep on the cutting edge here. And we're doing a very important show tomorrow. Can't wait for you to see it. Um, I mean, it's a shock. It's going to be some shocking stuff. I don't know when this one airs. It'd be big. It may be next week. I don't know, but um, it won't be this Friday. It may be the following Friday. I'm not sure. But anyway, got to go out there, and then I've got a funeral to go to up in Hammond, Indiana. So Friday I've got to head up there. I think my wife is going up. I think her mom is not doing well, Alzheimer's, and I believe they're taking her up there. I don't know. I don't even know the whole story, but hectic. And but some of you folks, you've got the same things going on in your life. The older you get, the more death you see, the more pain and cancer and debt and sicknesses. And you all got the same thing, I'm sure, going through the same things that we are here. And just heard of a preacher had a heart attack yesterday. We was in West Virginia yesterday, visiting on the way from Maine. Stopped in West Virginia to visit my one of my sons and his 5 children, and didn't realize it that an hour from where we were sitting, excuse me, I'm tired, I'm wore out. Excuse me, sorry to yawn. Without realizing, just found out tonight, a preacher friend of mine, Pastor Arcola, he pastors in a little bitty hollow in West Virginia, and I can't think of the name of that place. I heard he had a pretty bad heart attack, had surgery today. Uh, I heard that he's doing okay, but so pray for Pastor Arcola in uh, West Virginia. Can't even think of can't even think of what state it is. All right, I'm sitting here in Kentucky right now. I'm in Owensboro, Kentucky, in the truck, headed home. Church just got out, and so busy days. Okay, now let me give you something here. Isaiah 46:10. This is part one of our series now. The prophecy puzzle, the rapture prophecy puzzle 2026. I'm going to give you the pieces of the puzzle so that, and at the end of this, in a few days or a week, when we get done this series, I will hopefully have my PowerPoint ready and we'll put this all together for you. This is going to help you. What I'm going to give you the next few days, all right? I'm going to try to keep these brief. Number one is this. It all starts at the beginning. You tell at the end from the beginning. You tell us the end from the beginning. Isaiah 46:10. Write that down. Get that verse in your noggin and then get it in your heart. God's telling us something there. You want to know how this thing ends? Go back to the beginning. That's right. Go back to Genesis. By the way, I got a book coming out on the book of Genesis. With all the other stuff I'm doing, I got 3 books I'm working on, and that one has got to come hopefully this month. And the book of Genesis going to be like no other study guide you've ever seen on the book of Genesis. Not a verse by verse thing. It's going to be interesting. Going to be helpful. And that's what I want. I want to be helpful and I want it to be interesting so you're not bored. I've never been, as a preacher, I've been accused of being long-winded. I've never been accused of being boring. And I take that as an extreme compliment. Many times I would get done and I'd look at my watch. Oh my goodness, I went too long. And people would say, I didn't even realize it. I wish you could have kept going. And boy, I like that. I like that. So he telleth the end from the beginning. You want to know how the world ends? Go back to Genesis chapter 1. How does the world end? The world ends, I wrote something down here, with a bride and a serpent and some liberating fruit. You've seen me talk about this. You've seen my KJV book with the picture there of that scene that my sister Debbie sketched for me. You've heard me talk about this, I'm sure. I've talked about it in several of my books. Um, Genesis 3, the fall of man, Satan, the serpent, the bride, and the bride of Christ, and some liberating fruit, other Bibles. We're going to be talking about this in the studio tomorrow on that topic a little bit. So this thing's going to end with a church, the bride, being deceived and all confused by the serpent. By the way, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I should say this. I'm sitting in church tonight, and there's things going on that I can't tell you about, but there's always things going on, right? And God just brought something to my mind. Revelation 12 and verse 10. Who is Satan? He's the accuser of the brethren. And it hit me. Now, and this didn't hit me, but I knew this, and it does not say he's the false accuser. I promise you, Satan does not go before God and say, "Did you hear that Daniel Goodwin robbed a bank?" And I didn't rob a bank. He's not the false accuser. He is the accuser of the brethren before the throne of God. Every time you mess up, you do something, he accuses you in the throne room before God. Now, you read that passage, you read Revelation 12, read the whole verse, read the context there. Till his day is coming when he'll no longer be accusing anybody. But let me ask you a question. Are you Christ-like or are you Satan-like? Are you one who's always accusing the brethren of things? Well, the preacher went too long tonight. Well, I don't think the preacher ought to have borrowed the money he borrowed. Are you the accuser of the brethren? That's what Satan is. That's what Satan is. Are you listening tonight? This is big stuff right here. This is big stuff. Satan is the accuser of the brethren. Do you know what's going on in our churches today? Backbiting. The difference in us and Satan is many of us are false accusers. We accuse somebody, we don't even have all the facts. But I know it's true. You don't know anything. We're false accusers. But even to be an accuser, why is it such a great thing to you that you have dug up trash on somebody? Are you listening? You dig up trash on, I'm talking about prophecy tonight. You want to know how it ends? Go back to the beginning. What do we got? We got the accuser of the brethren. Now, it's not yet because there's no brethren haven't messed up yet, but they're about to. And he's going to help bring it on. He's the accuser of the brethren. He's not the false accuser. You think, but you don't understand this stuff I've dug up. It's true. What Satan brings to God is true too. Does that mean you're doing the work of God and we ought to all bow down to you and worship you? By the way, I'm not thinking of any particular person tonight. This came to me tonight at church. Sitting there, this always happens. I'm writing notes, and I wrote this down. I said, "Satan's the accuser of the brethren. Why are we so big on accusing people, even when it's true? Why do we think it's Christ-like to be an accuser? We need to get back to the ministry of helping people and preaching the truth and picking people up. And ye that are spiritual, restore he that has fallen, restore him. Uh, we need to get back to that. We've become like Satan. We're the accusers. God, did you see what that preacher did? I guarantee you, God saw it. You're not telling God nothing he doesn't know. But it's not God you're bringing this to, is it? We bring accusations to our brethren and sometimes to the newspaper and the world, and somehow we think that that's being spiritual. I got news for you. Satan is not spiritual. Satan's a fallen being. He was fallen when he stood there in the garden deceiving Adam and Eve. He's the accuser of the brethren. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You can be an accuser and a digger of a garbage collector and a digger of trash and bring accusations, or you can be Christ-like. Woman at the well, not the woman at the well, the woman brought caught in the act of adultery. Woman, where are thine accusers? Is there none left they'd all left. Neither do I. Go and sin no more, he said. Now, he's not talking about sinless perfection. He's saying, don't get involved in that again. Get right with the Lord. Um, say Jesus, he'll be the judge at the great white throne. I'm convinced of that. But he's God. He can do that. That's not your job. Let's be picker uppers, not kick downers. And let's you can be a policeman and go out and a detective and go out there and investigate crime and find crime, or you can be a preacher of the word of God. You can't be both. So that's where that's where this thing ends. And we're there, by the way. We're there. I have never in my life, and I'm 65 now, I've never seen to the degree that I'm seeing today, this holier than thou, destroying the brethren, accusing people. I've never seen it to this degree ever in my life. You know what we're seeing? We're seeing the great apostasy. We're seeing the end times. We're here. I like that famous that movie where the pirates he says uh you best start believing in in ghost stories. You're in one. Just a funny line. But and that's what I say. You best start believing in the end times because you're in them. You're in them right now. Because some of the signs for the end times is the church. The great apostasy is the church. It's not the world. That's the church that goes into apostasy. The Laodicean age is the church. It's believers, and we're there. We are there. We're almost out of time here, so hang on. We're there. You want to know how it ends? Go back to Genesis. You got Satan, the great accuser, causing the great fall of man, causing Adam and Eve to eat the fruit, disobey God, and thinking that they were going to become as God, knowing good and evil. They'll know right from wrong. They would decide what is right and what is wrong. They'll be God. That's what they thought. They were deceived, and and this thing about accusing and Satan, the accuser of the brethren. Just as soon as he caused the fall, he's now he's now the accuser of the. Now he's telling God what Adam and Eve did. Hey God, what about that? Huh? Did you see what they did? Um, Now let Satan do that. Don't you do that. You see what I'm saying tonight? Do you want to be like Satan? Then accuse people. Spend your life, spend your so-called ministry. If you think it's a ministry, that's not ministry. That's garbage collecting. Why don't you decide I'm not going to be like Satan? I'm going to try to be godly. I want to be what Jesus was to the best of my ability, and I want to spread truth instead of accusations. Let the police do the arresting, and let the judges and the lawyers let them do the crime stuff. Get in the ministry. Don't be like Satan. Don't be an accuser. Be an accuser. And so there's some things that happen in the book in the beginning of the book of Genesis. That's just one of them. Some things that we see there. We see that a day. We see the week outlined in the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and 2. God gives us the understanding of a week, 7 days. We also understand, as you read through the Bible, that a week can also be a week of 7 years. And we see that the Jubilee is 7 times, seven of those week of years, 49 years, and then the 50th years of Jubilee. We see the sabbatical cycle in the Bible. 6 years you till your ground, seventh year let it rest. These are taught, the beginnings of these are taught way back in Genesis 1 and 2 with the week. God said on the first day, in the evening and the morning were the first day. Second thing we see is when does the day begin? These are important pieces of the puzzle. Even what I'm saying right now, a day beginning at 6 p.m. is very important to the student of prophecy if you want to figure this stuff out. You're saying, well, what's that got to do with anything? You'll see. You'll see when we get through this and we give you my PowerPoint and I explain why my date looks so good next year. This is part of it. Now, some of you don't want to do the work. Some of you are looking for something real simple. It's not simple. You got to dig. You got to dig to see this stuff. And you got to spend years like I have and others have, and you got to get the pieces of the puzzle and get them up here and understand them. And then you got to put them together properly. This is one of them. 6 p.m. is when creation began. By the way, I know what day of the week it was. This is important. This is I need a big firecracker going off here, and I need some special effects, but I don't have it. I'm in the truck. I need some special effects. Don't miss this. Hey, don't miss this. Creation began at 6 p.m. Sunday, the first day of the week. He says so. After day one, he says that it was the evening and the morning were the first day. It started at 6. It didn't start at midnight. It didn't start at 6 in the morning. Creation began for our universe at 6 p.m. Sunday. We know that. He says it's the first day of the week. What is the first day of the week? Sunday. We know that 6 days he created. On the seventh day, God rested. The seventh day is the Sabbath. It's Saturday. That's very important as well. Right. So are you catching some of these? These seem some of this. Some of you will say, "Well, this is kind of simple." I know it is, but it's profound, and you've got to get this. These are basic building blocks to understanding the soon return of the Lord. The day of the week, the creation began. The time, 6 p.m. Sunday. You understand? By the way, the 6,000 year Earth is taught in chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Genesis, the first two chapters of your Bible. Verse 1, what's it say? In the beginning. Well, that's pretty deep, wouldn't you say? What's deep about it? Because it's the beginning. The beginning of what? It isn't the beginning of God. It isn't the beginning of the third heaven. What is it the beginning of? It's the beginning of this universe here. I believe we're going to be here 6,000 years. I believe it'll be right to the day. I believe it'll be right to the hour, right to the minute, right to the second. That's right. God's a God of order. This thing was all worked out in the beginning. God. Are you with me? What that motorcycle's doing back there? Where in the world did he go? Got some crazy music playing. I don't think you can hear because I got my earpiece on. All right. Boy, I want to go thrash him. It sounds like some wicked music over there. And I don't know what's going on. Well, we're in the midst of a defiled, wicked, vile generation. And that's where we're at here. The 2 days, you're right, the 2 days. Hosea 6, verses 1 through 4, also teach the 6,000 year earth. Matthew 17, after 6 days, he takes Peter, James, and John up. What's 6 days? 6,000 years. The rapture, Moses, Elijah come down, two witnesses. Tribulation begins. Uh, where do we first learn about it? Genesis 1 and 2, the 6 days of creation. The seventh day God rested. Those 6 days are types of the 6,000 periods, 6,000 year periods. And the 7,000 years, the last 1,000 years is the kingdom age, the millennium. Fits like it's perfect. It makes perfect sense. And there's no question about this. These are biblical truths and principles given to us in the Word of God. And so we've got the 6,000 year, we got the day of the week, we got the time of the day that it all began. What am I saying? That's how it's if it's a 6,000 year earth and then the kingdom. If it's a perfect 6,000 years, listen now, and I'm going to close with this. Listen now, listen. If it's a perfect 6,000 years from creation to the beginning of the rapture to the rapture, and then of course the kingdom age, it has to end at the same moment that it started. Am I right about that? Am I right? I'm right. It wouldn't be a perfect 6,000 years if it didn't end on the same day that it started. If it ends on a Monday, is that and it started on a Sunday, is that a perfect 6,000 years? Hello? Hello? Some of you scoffers out there, is that a perfect six? No, of course not. By the way, if it ends at midnight, but it started at 6 p.m., is that a perfect 6,000 years? Right to the day, right to the moment, right to the second? Absolutely not. It's 6 hours off. And that does not compute, my friend. These are the beginnings of the important pieces that Dan Goodwin used to come up with something pretty big that we're going to share with you in a few days here. But you got to understand these things, or you're not gonna know how I come up with this. You're not gonna know what the big deal is. So you're gonna have to suffer through some of this. I say suffer. I hope you'll enjoy these teachings. But um, so did you know? And this one I can't prove. But all the old Jews, I'm talking about Josephus, I'm talking about Bishop Usher, I'm talking about many of the old Jews from centuries ago, they all believe that creation happened on Tishri 1. Now Tishri a fall month, and that's why to this day the Jews have kept this for centuries. Tishri 1 on their calendar is New Year's. They believe that that is the celebration of a new year. They believe that in Genesis 1, God created. They believe day one was Tishri 1. I believe they're right about that, though I can't necessarily prove it in black and white in a courtroom. Um, but that's interesting because that's Feast of Trumpets, Tishri 1. Um, all right. The 360-day year is important, and we'll get to that. That's going to have to do with the 2520. That's tomorrow, believe it or not. I'm looking at my paper here. The 2520 Oshea is tomorrow. And that 360-day year is going to be part of your understanding of the 2520. And very important. If you're using the Gregorian 365 and a fourth day calendar, you will never figure this out. If you don't understand the Beeb, you won't figure this, and that's going to be covered in here somewhere too. That was the final piece of the puzzle that God gave Dan Goodwin, was the barley harvest stuff. And all right, so we've been too long. Let's get off here. Been a good group on here. I appreciate everybody. Van, did you just get here, or are you just now posting something? Anyway, if you missed the beginning, you can go back and listen. It's good to see you, Van. And so this is part one of our brand new series on the Rapture Puzzle 2026. I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts, going to give you the foundation, going to help you understand the pieces of the puzzle that will help you understand where we are on the prophetic calendar and why a certain date next year sure looks good. All right. God bless, and keep your eyes on them skies.